Agriculture, and this is our next event, the American Presidency as Seen Through the Newspaper. We'll push it forward here very quickly. Again, it's sponsored by really two groups within our department. The Social Sciences Department, of course, but also our recently endowed Northwestern Oklahoma State University Masonic Institute for Citizenship Studies, which was just recently founded in March of 2010. We're very grateful for that. So it's kind of a joint effort here sponsoring the event. Again, it's going to be this coming Tuesday, March 22nd, and it's from 7 until 9 p.m. And probably the last 20 to 30 minutes will allow people to take a look at some of our framed newspapers, original newspapers that we'll have at the library. It's going to be on the first floor of the J.W. Martin Library on the Alva campus. But we'll reserve some time for questions at the end, and also if you want to take a closer look at some of these originals. So we're looking forward to that. Okay, we'll hit the next one here. And here are some of the newspaper topics, including an address by George Washington. Is that one a reprint in a later newspaper? Or is that the original?
It's an original.
That's the original. That's the 1793 Weekly, I believe. Yeah. We have details relating to the assassination of President Garfield, James Garfield, late 19th century. An obituary of Mary Lincoln from 1882. I don't know how we found that. That's just kind of happened to be in there, that collection. So we thought that was the president's wife. That is the president's wife. Chester A. Arthur's Handling of Violence in the Old West, late 19th century. Again, that's something we may not be familiar with, so we have something like that. Some more familiar topics include FDR, Roosevelt, World War II. We have a number of items from the late 30s, early 40s. We'll highlight only a handful of those, but those are from the Des Moines Register.
I used to deliver the Chicago Tribune in that time, and they would refuse to cover the fact that FDR won the election.
Oh, really? Well, that's right, Chicago. That's right. That's right. Well, we have a couple. One item, actually, I think, in particular from September of 1939, or a week after the war broke out. Of course, Roosevelt's trying to gauge the country's mood as war breaks out in Europe. Of course, one of the concerns was trying to stay neutral, but about a year later, when France goes down in flames, that raised the specter of possible Nazi takeover of Europe even higher.
One of the things we'd like to eventually see come out of this would be if people are interested in donating any newspapers that they would like to have maintained, curated, and placed in a repository whereby they would be made available for students to look at. We'd be very happy to accept, or not at the risk of sounding mercenary, but a lot of times these are things that some people wouldn't, and they're generally not valuable. They don't bring a lot of money, but I think they have an educational value to them. And I think it's amazing what people have in their garages or basement. And if anybody would like, it's one of the purposes of the Institute is we would like to maintain these things and make them available to our students for research and for these types of programs. One of the things that I came across one surreptitiously, it was an Alva newspaper from 1919, the one you're talking about, a defunct newspaper that I'm hoping somebody maybe in this room would know something about, since I'm not from this area. But it's, what's the name of it? It's the something. I forget what it's called, but it's a 1919 newspaper. And the really neat thing about it for Northwestern is it has a picture of the old castle on it. On the top of the newspaper, where the title of the paper appears, it has the castle on it. And of course, it's 1990, so the castle is still extant at that time. So anyway, we'd like to see, particularly local newspapers, if anybody have any that they would like to donate. We'd like to take that responsibility on.
And one thing we can do also, by the way, if people can't make it on the 22nd, hopefully we can get as many people as possible, but I think it's going to be on display at the library for a couple of weeks, actually, so it's going to be up there on the first floor.